In a world where permanence is an illusion, and the only constant is change, we find ourselves yearning for anchors, places, or moments that offer a semblance of stability. Yet, deep down, we understand that everything is transient, including ourselves. Nestled in the serene landscapes of Portugal's Algarve region stands the cargo house, a testament to this very transience. Once a 6 by 2.5 meter cargo container, it has been transformed by Madeg Wincho into a 27 square meter haven that challenges our perceptions of space, time, and existence. The exterior, clad in core panels, not only provides insulation, but also allows the structure to blend seamlessly with its natural surroundings. It's as if the house whispers, "I am here, but I am not permanent." A metal ladder leads to a rooftop terrace, a space that invites contemplation. From here, the horizon stretches infinitely, emphasizing our fleeting presence in the vast tapestry of time. Inside, poplar wood panels envelop the walls, exuding warmth and simplicity. The concrete floor grounds you, a subtle reminder of the earth beneath and the impermanence above. The cargo house doesn't boast grandeur. Instead, it offers a humble space that encourages introspection. Its design speaks to the essence of living, embracing the now, acknowledging the past, and understanding that the future is but a concept. In a society obsessed with permanence, the cargo house stands as a gentle rebellion, a reminder that beauty lies in the ephemeral. That meaning is found not in longevity, but in presence. I've spent over 4 decades drawing lines that I hoped would mean something. Some of those lines became homes. Some never left the paper, but the older I get, the more I realize architecture isn't about permanence. It's about presence. It's about the way a space holds a breath, or how sunlight moves across a wall like a memory you can't quite keep. You learn that what truly matters isn't how long something lasts, but how deeply it lives in a moment. As we navigate the ever-changing currents of life, may we find solace in spaces like the cargo house, places that, though temporary, leave an indelible mark on our souls. Years ago, after my partner passed, I couldn't stand the silence of our old home. Too many walls holding too many echoes. I found myself dreaming of something simpler, something like this cargo house, not as an escape, but as a reset, a quiet box of cork and concrete, built not to impress, but to listen, to allow grief, reflection, and eventually acceptance. Maybe nothing we build will last forever, but the way a place makes you feel, that can echo for a lifetime. If that resonates with you, stay a while. There's more to discover, more to question, and maybe, just maybe, more to feel. There's something quietly radical about a cabin like this, a structure that doesn't scream for attention, doesn't need to dominate the landscape, but instead folds into it. This is the Rouse Cabin Model 2, designed by Sigurd Larsen, and more than just a minimalist retreat, it's a manifesto in disguise. Set in the outskirts of nature, not too far from Berlin, yet far enough to forget its noise, this project is part of a wider movement by Rouse, a Berlin-based startup with one simple mission: to help people escape. But what are we really? Escaping from our jobs, the city, or maybe ourselves. Sigurd Larsen isn't new to this dance between simplicity and provocation, a Danish architect with a talent for clarity. His structures speak softly, but ask big questions here. He teams up with Rouse to produce a cabin that's compact, only 18 square meters, yet feels open, transparent, and human. The materials are modest, but they're chosen with care. Birch plywood on the inside creates a sense of warmth, almost like being wrapped in a woven cocoon. Meanwhile, the outside is clad in aluminum, durable, reflective, slightly alien. A contrast that somehow works. There's poetry in that tension. Inside, everything has a place. A bed tucked into the corner, a bathroom that slides into the wall, a kitchenette. Just enough to remind you that you still belong to the world of chores and routines. But what really defines the space is the window. That massive opening, it's not just for light or views, it's a frame, a portal, a decision. You sit here and the forest doesn't just look back, it listens. And you begin to remember what silence feels like. The cabin is off-grid, solar-powered, built with sustainability in mind. But more than the green credentials, which are admirable, what matters is the message, that we need less than we think. That the essentials aren't so elusive, that disconnection might be the most luxurious thing money can buy. But don't mistake this for romanticism. These cabins aren't free. They aren't easy to get to. And even the idea of escaping for a weekend is a kind of privilege. Rouse knows this. Sigurd Larsen knows this, and yet they still invite us in. Because even if you can't afford it, even if you never go, the cabin is a symbol of a world that could be quieter, slower, more intentional. A world that might not be real for everyone, but is still worth dreaming about. And maybe, just maybe, architecture can still do that. They say home is where the heart is, but what if your heart keeps moving? Somewhere between Barcelona's sunlit coast and the mountainous Catalan countryside, a group of restless minds at IAAC, the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia, decided to redefine what a home could be, not a place tied to one plot of land, but a vessel for a life itself. They called it the MA House, MA as in movement and architecture, and maybe a little bit of madness too. The structure is simple at first glance, just 23 square meters, but it holds more vision than most mansions, built on a trailer. It's a timber frame wrapped in withering steel. Nothing flashy, nothing fake, just smart, sustainable, honest. Design, and yet it moves literally. This house can be transported anywhere, no strings attached. It's autonomy. It's flexibility, it's freedom. I used to think freedom meant square footage, a yard, a mortgage. But standing in front of something like this makes you question everything. What if we didn't have to settle down to feel at home? What if architecture could adapt to us, not the other way round? The team behind the MA House isn't a firm. It's a laboratory of dreamers, students, architects, digital fabricators, pushing boundaries. They didn't just design a house. They prototyped a new way of living, a home that's self-sufficient, powered by the sun, collecting its own water. It listens to the land instead of fighting it. I imagine the first person to live here waking up surrounded by pine trees one day, and parked by a vineyard the next, reading a book under the skylight, cooking with the doors wide open. No neighbors, no noise, just the rhythm of nature and the comfort of space that moves with you. Sure, not everyone can or wants to live like this, but that's not the point. The point is to ask, how much space do we really need to feel alive? Sometimes a house doesn't need to last forever to matter. Sometimes it just needs to breathe. This is mini living. Breathe. Not a home in the traditional sense, but a bold idea turned into architecture. Designed by Soil and unveiled during Milan Design Week. It's not a retreat in the forest or a luxurious getaway. It's a reaction, a critique. A glimpse into how we might live when space runs out, when air runs thin, and when cities stop growing outward and have no choice but to look inward. Set between two facades in Milan's dense urban fabric, Breathe fits into just 50 square meters. That's it, 50. But instead of walls, it has a translucent skin that filters air and light. Instead of permanence, it has modular parts and a biodegradable structure. This is architecture as performance and protest. Soil isn't interested in just making things pretty. They're asking questions. What does it mean to feel at home when your city is choking on its own growth? How can architecture respond to climate without becoming a monument to guilt and can design, not just accommodate life, but nurture it. There's no illusion here. It's not pretending to be a villa. It's a scaffold for survival, but it's also gentle, beautiful in its fragility. 6 flexible rooms stacked vertically. A rooftop garden to grow, to reflect dot and everything. Everything designed to remind you how precious air, light, and water really are. The materials are light, the layers are breathable, and the intention is clear: to imagine living as an active relationship with the planet, not an act of domination. I look at this structure and I think, maybe home isn't a place you own. Maybe it's a place you share, with neighbors, with the city, with the air we all inhale. This isn't just a prototype. It's a provocation. It whispers, you don't need more, you need better. And the future, if we're smart enough, just might look a lot like this. So maybe it's time we rethink what we call a home, not as square footage or property lines, but as a living, breathing response to the world around us. Mini living. Breathe doesn't offer answers. It invites participation. It strips away the unnecessary until only the essentials remain. Light, water, time. Can we design our lives to be that honest? If this made you pause, even for a second, then good. That's the point. Now I'll leave you with the final images, a few quiet moments to breathe, to observe, and maybe, just maybe, to reimagine how you want to live. What if everything you need in life could fit inside a box no larger than a parking space and still feel like home? Tucked away in the dense urban fabric of Tokyo, the 6 Tsubo house by RT1 Architects redefines not just what a house is, but what it feels like to live with intention. 6 Tsubo means roughly 20 square meters. That's it for an entire home. But within these tiny walls lives a space so thoughtful, it almost expands when you breathe with it. The client, a woman who lost her previous home in the 2011 earthquake, had one simple request: to live again in the same neighborhood she loved. Not a bigger house, not a fresh start. Just to remain where her memories lived. So the architects responded not with excess, but with empathy. Using a lightweight steel frame and translucent polycarbonate panels, the home glows like a lantern from within. It borrows light, it borrows space, and it borrows beauty from its surroundings. The interior unfolds vertically with a spiraling wooden staircase, and every corner, every level, carries a purpose and a pause. As I look at this house, I wonder how much space we really need, and how much of it we fill just to avoid asking that question. This house is not about sacrifice, it's about clarity. It whispers a new rhythm of living, one in which the walls don't close in, but actually push us closer to ourselves. It may not be for everyone, but perhaps that's the point. In a world rushing toward more, faster, bigger, this home dares to say less, slower, smaller, and maybe better. And maybe that's the real lesson here, that a meaningful life isn't measured in square meters, but in how deeply we inhabit the space we're given. If this little Tokyo home moved something in you, even just a little, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who dreams of living with less, but feeling more. What if the tiniest building on the landscape could carry the loudest message about design? Tucked into the rolling hills of Mudgee, New South Wales, a solitary hut stands defiantly against the wind. It's not large, it's not loud. But Gawthorne's hut by Cameron Anderson Architects is a masterclass in clarity, humility, and architectural storytelling. This isn't just a holiday home, it's a quiet rebellion. The project was commissioned by a couple looking to expand their ecotourism retreat on an off-grid farm. They didn't want luxury, they wanted honesty. A place where guests could connect to the land, to themselves, and to a slower kind of time. In an era obsessed with more, they asked for less, but better. And so Anderson delivered a 40-square-meter form that looks like it was plucked from the pages of an architectural fable, clad entirely in weathering steel. The hut mimics the shape of a fallen rural shed, sloping downward with deliberate asymmetry. It's a poetic nod to the decaying agrarian structures that surround it, a ruin reimagined, a ghost made habitable. Inside, everything is essential. Nothing is excessive. A bed, a bath, a table. Sunlight spills through tall glass panes. The warmth of timber softens the steel exterior. Every view is framed like a painting, carefully curated to honor the horizon. Even the solar panels aren't an afterthought. They're integrated into the roof form, like scales on the back of a living organism. And this is where the real lesson begins, because too often we talk about sustainability as a checklist. Solar panels, check. Recycled materials, check. But here, sustainability is not added. It's embedded. It's the starting point, not the afterthought. Gawthorne's hut doesn't pretend to be more than it is, and that's precisely what makes it powerful. There's no marble, no steel glass drama, no showmanship, and yet it evokes emotion. Because it's architecture with intention. It doesn't scream for attention, but it rewards those who are willing to listen. It's a reminder that materials don't need to be polished to be meaningful, that weathering steel, often used in infrastructure, can feel warm if given the right context. That small can be spacious when you're designing with light and shadow. Instead of square meters, that authenticity always outlasts trends. To any architecture student watching this, remember, restraint is not a weakness, it's a skill. And in Gawthorne's hut, that skill becomes a shelter, a sanctuary, a statement. The next time you sketch, don't ask yourself what more you can add. Ask yourself what you can let go of, and what truth remains.
Welcome to a journey into the heart of Phoenix, Arizona, where innovation meets sustainability in the form of the Silo House by Kaiserworks. Imagine transforming a 1955 grain silo into a cozy, modern home. That's exactly what architect Christoph Kaiser achieved with this unique project, situated in the historic Garfield district. The Silo House redefines urban living by embracing minimalism and repurposing materials. Did you know this entire home fits into just 230 square feet? With a footprint of just 230 square feet, this compact dwelling is a testament to efficient design. The exterior retains its agricultural roots with a corrugated metal shell, painted white to reflect the desert sun. Inside, a warm, wooden interior creates a comfortable living space for one or two people. Using an old grain silo saves not only money, but thousands of pounds of construction waste. In a country where bigger is often seen as better, this tiny home challenges the norm beautifully. The design cleverly separates the structural shell from the interior living area, allowing for a double height space that feels open and inviting. An operable oculus at the top provides natural ventilation, reducing the need for mechanical cooling in the hot Arizona climate. Living smaller means living smarter. Every inch here has a purpose. Surrounding the Silo House is a private garden that offers framed views of the Phoenix skyline, connecting the home to its urban environment while maintaining privacy. This thoughtful integration of indoor and outdoor spaces enhances the living experience without expanding the building's footprint. Transforming what we already have can be the most sustainable building method of all. Natural ventilation through the oculus keeps the home cool, even in Arizona's harsh summers. The Silo House exemplifies how sustainable living doesn't require sacrificing comfort or style. By repurposing existing structures and focusing on efficient design, it offers a model for affordable, eco-friendly urban housing. Choosing a simpler life isn't about giving up. It's about gaining time, space, and peace of mind. For many Americans, the dream is shifting. It's less about square footage and more about freedom. Believe it or not, the Silo House is smaller than the average American garage. Could you imagine living in a space that tiny and loving it? For those seeking to downsize, live sustainably, and embrace a minimalist lifestyle, the Silo House stands as an inspiring example of what's possible when creativity meets conscientious design. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of innovative architecture. Stay tuned for more stories that showcase how thoughtful design can transform the way we live.
Hello there and welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad you're here. Today, I want to show you something curious, something small but mighty. So, make yourself comfortable, maybe pour a cup of green tea if you like, because what we're about to explore is a 3-story home built on just 30 square meters. That's about the size of a parking space.
Tiny?
Yes, but wait until you see what they did with it.
Now, let's take a slow walk through one of the most space-starved places on Earth, Japan. Land is precious here. In Tokyo, a single square meter of urban land can cost over $260,000. That's around $1,700. So when you've only got 30 of those, you don't waste anything. And the architects at Minoru Design, well, they didn't just design a house. They sculpted a vertical sanctuary from constraint. They call it Small House on a Corner Lot. But it's not just small. It's thoughtful, warm, even poetic. Rising 3 stories high with 60 square meters of living space, this little tower of timber is a masterclass in compact living. Its structure is wood, but its soul, that's a blend of craft, culture, and necessity. Because in Japan, where homes often last just 25 years and plots get divided with every inheritance, innovation isn't a luxury, it's survival. Step inside with something surprising. The ceilings don't feel low, the rooms don't feel cramped. Why? Well, that's the trick. The house opens upward and outward through clever gaps, cutouts, and a rooftop terrace that lets light and wind dance freely. It's like the Minoru integrated a passive ventilation system, inspired by ancient wind towers, pulling fresh air up and out through the core of the building. Pretty smart for a house without a yard. And about that yard, there isn't one. But wait, on the second floor, there's a tiny elevated garden. It's just a patch of green, but it's everything. A poetic nod to what's missing, a memory of nature, a quiet place where the concrete city softens just a bit. And honestly, it might just be my favorite part. You will also notice exposed beams and visible columns inside. Not because they couldn't cover them, but because they didn't want to. These bones of the home, they frame the spaces. They celebrate the structure. You can almost the tree it once was. There's a kind of honesty to it. A warmth. As if the house itself is whispering, "This is who I am." And maybe the most beautiful part? It's not flashy. There's no marble, no spiral staircases. It's not trying to be Instagram famous. It's trying to work. This is architecture for real life, for real people. And in doing so, it becomes art. Understated, unpretentious, unforgettable. Minoru Design, the firm behind it, isn't a global giant. But maybe that's exactly why this works. Because only someone deeply rooted in the local context could have imagined something this delicate, this clever, this necessary. You see, when your canvas is the size of a car, you don't just draw, you compose. And you know, I think there's something quietly radical about this house. In a world of McMansions and overconsumption, here's a whisper from the East saying, what if we lived with less, but better? What if the sky was our backyard? What if architecture could slow us down, not speed us up? It's almost rebellious in its restraint. So, next time you find yourself stuck in traffic, boxed into your apartment, or just craving a bit of fresh air, think about this little wooden tower in Japan. It may be small, but its message, it's towering. Thank you for walking with me today. If you enjoyed this story, you know what to do.
Imagine stepping into a home that's only 330 square feet, but feels like an entire world of its own. Designed by GOC, the Tiny Leaf cabin proves that tiny living doesn't mean sacrificing comfort or beauty. In fact, This design uses every inch of space with the utmost care, showing that less can truly be more. This cabin is the perfect example of how small living can still be incredibly stylish, comfortable, and sustainable. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll look at tiny homes in a whole new way. It's not just small in size, it's big in ideas, set in a stunning natural environment. It blends effortlessly with its surroundings. Every material was chosen for its sustainability. The timber is locally sourced, the roof is designed to capture rainwater, and the energy efficiency is second to none. It's a space that not only lives in harmony with nature, it works to protect it. From the outside, it looks like a simple wooden structure, but the design is anything but basic. The cabin features an open-plan layout with a spacious living room, a compact yet fully functional kitchen, and a cozy bedroom nook. The large windows let in natural light, creating a bright, airy feel despite the smaller footprint. And the best part, the clever use of multifunctional furniture ensures every square foot has a purpose. What makes the tiny leaf cabin so special is its dedication to eco-friendly living. The walls are insulated with recycled materials. The cabin is powered by solar energy, and it uses a composting toilet. The roof's rainwater system makes this home self-sufficient. These features not only make it incredibly sustainable, but also incredibly cost-effective for anyone who wants to live off-grid. Living in a space like this doesn't just change your surroundings, it changes your mindset. Tiny homes like this one allow for a simpler, more intentional way of living. You start to focus on what really matters, the connections you make, the moments you share, and the beauty of the natural world around you. The tiny leaf cabin is the epitome of that idea. But it's not just about saving space. It's about saving the planet. Tiny homes are an answer to the growing demand for a sustainable living without sacrificing the comforts we're used to. Whether you're living alone or with a partner, this cabin offers everything you need and nothing you don't. It's an innovative response to the environmental challenges we face today, showing us how we can live with less, but live better. So, what do you think? Could you see yourself living in a home like the tiny leaf cabin? Its combination of eco-friendly design, smart space usage, and deep connection to nature makes it the perfect option for anyone looking to live simply and sustainably. In a world that often pushes us toward more, this cabin shows us how much we can gain by choosing less. If you loved this tour, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss any more amazing homes. And let us know in the comments, would you live in a tiny cabin like this?
You know, after all these years looking at buildings big and small, it's often the ones that whisper rather than shout that truly capture my attention. We find ourselves today looking at such a project far from the urban sprawl in the Kozak Plateau of Pergamon, Turkey. This is The Cabin in the Woods by Edith Demerel Works. A modest 54 square meters, completed, I believe, around 2022. Now, what first strikes you, or at least what strikes me, is this intentional dialogue with an ancient landscape. It's perched quite deliberately on an existing dry stone terrace wall, the ghost of an old vineyard, a mark of respect, that a refusal to simply bulldoze and impose. But don't mistake that respect for timidity. Oh no. The structure itself, with its robust steel frame and this distinctive metallic skin, likely Corten given its appearance and resilience, makes a conscious statement. It doesn't try to blend in, to camouflage itself. It stands apart, a man-made object asserting its presence. Some might find that jarring. I find it honest. And then you move inside, or rather down into its heart. This is where the design truly sings for me. A sunken core, a contemporary conversation pit, as the architects call it. A clever nod, perhaps, to those mid-century masters, but here it feels deeply rooted, quite literally embedded in the topography. It's an invitation, isn't it? To gather, to share, to connect, not just with each other, but with the earth itself. The central well, it's the anchor. The wet areas, the utilitarian parts of any dwelling, are neatly attached, almost as afterthoughts, allowing the core to remain pure, and then cleverly tucked within that angular, tent-like shell, there's a mezzanine, a space for sleep, for quiet contemplation or work, looking down, being part of, yet separate from, that communal heart. Architecture at its best is about framing life, framing views. And here, a wide horizontal gash in that metal shell does precisely that. It pulls the vastness of the surrounding landscape right into the intimate scale of the cabin. And these smaller openings, jutting out like curious eyes, they create these sculptural moments, don't they? Mediating between the sanctuary within and the wilderness without. It's a very deliberate play of light and aperture. Now let's talk about how this thing is put together. It's a tale of two tectonics, really. You have that reinforced dry stone wall, the in situ concrete base. These elements feel like they've grown from the site. They are of the earth. But the steel structure, those facade panels, they were born in a workshop, prefabricated, and then assembled here, disengaged from the immediate topography, in a sense. And this is the crux of it, the intellectual meat of the foundation and that conversation pit. They are a continuation of the land grounding the structure, allowing you to feel that direct connection. But the shell, that tent-like steel form floating above, it's in opposition in its material, its geometry, its very essence. It's the other, the alien, yet protective. What we have here is not just a cabin, but a carefully crafted dialogue. A dialogue between local and foreign, between ancient techniques and modern fabrication, between integrating and contrasting. It's a reminder that great architecture doesn't always need a grand gesture or an enormous budget. Sometimes it just needs a clear idea, thoughtfully executed. This little cabin in Kozak, it's got that in spades. A fine lesson for any young architect and a delightful retreat for those lucky enough to stay there.